every closet. My name is Stephanie, and along with my partner Ethan, we are two full-time resellers of used clothing on Poshmark and eBay. We are bringing you a new video today. Actually, Ethan's bringing you a video. I have no idea how to even do any of this. About our best tips, some of the tips that we use for cleaning shoes. So sometimes we're given shoes that aren't fully ready to sell, but they could be made better. And Ethan knows the way to do that. And so he's going to be showing you him cleaning some of the shoes, the befores and afters, showing you the products, and giving you a voiceover about what he's doing as he's doing it. And maybe I'll learn how to do it through this video. Stay tuned.
Hello YouTube, thanks so much for being here. My name's Ethan, and like Stephanie mentioned, we are going to be doing a quick shoe cleaning tutorial today. So I'll just go through some of the things you're seeing on screen real quick, but basically these are my shoe cleaning essentials. So if you want to tidy up shoes and get a little bit more money from them, these are all the things I think you need. So the four things in the top left corner there, we have mink oil, we have Doc Martens Wonder Balsam, which I think is just mink oil, but it does look a little different than the bigger tub there. We have leather conditioning wipes, and we have brown boot polish. So all of those must have for leather. Then going across to the right, we have Goo Gone, great for the bottoms of shoes if there's anything nasty on there. Quick wipes, which are great, and they're pretty cheap on Amazon, big pack of them. Then, of course, paper towel, a sponge for polishing shoes with the boot polish, and then we have the Oops stain remover. That stuff is great. We've talked about it in one of our other videos, but basically that is awesome for shoes because if you're using it on shoes, you're using it on a fabric that is pretty durable. Obviously, would not use that on suede or leather. And then we have that wooden brush with white bristles. I use that with soapy water for pretty much all shoes, at least on the bottoms of the shoes. And then I'm Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. And lastly, a suede eraser, and I believe it is a horsehair brush. So both of those last two items just for suede. So the first thing you're going to see here is me cleaning up a pair of really beat up leather boots. The first shoe you're seeing on screen now is basically the before. I have not cleaned this one up, and then I'm going to hold up the one I have cleaned so you can see kind of the before and after of what we're going for. This one that you're seeing on screen now looked just like that first one. Leather is actually my favorite thing to clean because I feel like it makes the biggest difference in what we can actually list the items for. So just comparing them side by side, like the difference that you can sell the after versus the before is probably like infinitely more. I don't think anyone would buy that shoe on the right. At least I wouldn't. But that shoe on the left still has a lot of life in it. So the first thing you're going to do is just wipe the shoe down with some paper towel. And this is because these shoes were just absolutely covered in dust, and you really don't want to be trying to polish over that. So just showing you there as well, some of the dust coming off. So the first thing I'm going to use on these is this Doc Martens Wonder Balsam. It is fantastic. And yeah, I would just say, like, if you were going to pick a single product that can really drastically improve the quality of leather, and if you were going to buy one thing, it would be that Doc Martens Wonder Balsam. The mink oil on screen is an alternative to the Wonder Balsam, but I haven't used it as much because I love the Doc Martens stuff so much, and it does last for quite a while. So this is still the first one we bought like over a year ago, and we're almost through it now, but it will last quite a bit. So it comes with this little sponge inside. You just apply a little bit on there, so you'll see it doesn't take much. So just barely soaking the sponge with the oil inside, and then you're just gonna lightly rub it on wherever you need to darken the material. In this case, the shoe is so beat up that I'm pretty much going to do the entire shoe. The toe was the worst part of it, so I wanted to apply a little bit of the Doc Martens to the toe, and then I'll switch to the leather wipe, do the entire rest of the shoe, including the toe once that's dried, and then I will come back and do another coat of the Doc Martens everywhere, including on the toe again, because I really need to darken that material to make the scratches sort of fade away. Alright, so about 5 minutes later, letting the Doc Martens soak in, we'll come back at it with the leather conditioning wipes, and I'm just going to do the entire shoe because it is so just dusty and scuffed everywhere and kind of not great. So I'll start at the back and just give the Doc Martens a little more time to dry and just basically give the entire shoe a quick brushing. The leather wipes will darken the material quite a bit, and it can be a little bit too harsh if you're working with lighter colored leather. In this case, I wasn't too worried about it because I really wanted to darken the material quite a bit. But just something to be aware of if you're working with like a much lighter brown. Um, this is not what you want to use, or on like white leather especially. These leather wipes are no good. Do not use them for that. But for something that's already kind of a darker brown or a black, no problem. So you can start to see here the progress that's being made. Obviously, parts like the edge of the toe and the very back, wherever it was most scuffed, still needs a lot of work, but we're making progress at least. Like I said, the leather wipe will darken the material quite a bit. So whether it's the Doc Marten stuff or the leather wipes, like you want to make sure you test your material before you go ahead and spread this all over, on the off chance it does react poorly with whatever leather color or material you're using. So I would maybe just do like the very bottom edge, kind of at the side or the back middle sort of area, just to make sure that it's not going to totally destroy the material. So here's an up close update of the shoe. You can see that some of those deeper scratches are definitely still standing out way too much, but the material as a whole is looking a little bit better, or at least like this is something you could sell, but we do still have a little bit of work to do to make it that much better. So we're going back to the Doc Marten stuff now. Again, just a little bit goes a long way. So we're going to rub that into the toe again, just trying to work some of those scratches out of the material by darkening the entire shoe, to more of like a cherry sort of brown, like the one that you can see on the left side of the couch there. So just going to work that into the material as much as possible, giving the different parts of the shoe about 5 minutes to let the Doc Marten stuff soak in. And so here again, you can see the progress we're making on the shoe. Again, some of those scratches just won't come out that it was too beat up, but the shoe already looks so much better. So it's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to come back with a clean, dry cloth and just sort of give the shoe a quick rub down. Any excess, either liquid from the leather wipes or Wonder Balsam, is just rubbed off, trying to get any more of the excess dust off now. So next I'm going to go to the brown boot polish. You could do this before you go with the Doc Marten stuff as well, but I'm choosing to do it after. I don't know if it necessarily makes a difference. You can see I only put a little bit on the paper towel there because a little goes a long way. And this is basically just going to stain some of the lighter patches back to more of the brown color that we're looking for. So I'm just lightly dabbing it on wherever I see deeper scuffs, and letting it sit there for a little bit. So I lost some footage there, but basically after letting it sit on the material for a minute or two, I rubbed it off with that black sponge you can see on the couch. And now you can see the progress we're making on the shoe. Oh, and when I lost that footage, that was also where I just used a little bit of Goo Gone on the bottom of these. You can always apply more of that boot polish, but you can't unapply it once it's on there. Same thing, I like to err on the side of caution when I decide to rub it off, so I don't leave it on there for as long as I probably could. And now you're seeing me go back to the Doc Martens stuff, really trying to get it into some of those scuffs to darken that material up a little bit more. I decided to go with this instead of another round of brown boot polish because I was a little bit afraid of making the material too dark with the boot polish, whereas with this Doc Martens Wonder Balsam, I've never had an issue of like over darkening really beat up shoes. So that is why I did that. So here you can see the progress we've made on these shoes. Still looking great. I gave that material a bit of time again to just have the Wonder Balsam set into the shoes. And there you go. Those are the completed UGG boots that have been restored as much as I can do. So we should be able to sell those for a lot more than we could have before. All right, so on to the next pair of shoes. These are John Fluvog wedges that we got from one of our consignment clients. And I already did test the material with some of the Wonder Balsam. Basically, these shoes, our consignment client gave them to us after somehow darkening the left shoe more than the right shoe. I think something spilled on them, or maybe they were exposed. One was exposed to sunlight, where the other wasn't. So we're just going to try and darken up the one that is much noticeably lighter. And you can see here I'm using the sponge I used on the last shoes that had just a little bit of the brown boot polish residue on it, because I didn't want to resort to applying a fresh coat of brown boot polish to it initially. However, you can see now I am just putting a little bit on there. I did test the material first again, and I'm just going to be really careful not to leave that on there for too long because we do not want to hurt the material or make the one that was lighter even darker than the first one. And so I really left that on there for maybe 30 seconds at most, and I spread a very small amount over the entire shoe just to make it a little bit closer. It's not going to be perfect because whatever stained the left shoe, it made it significantly darker. And this was a lighter material shoe to begin with, but that is pretty good, and we're going to sell it like that. So on to the next pair of shoes. This one is a very, very tough, sort of leathery material up top. They're a pair of Merrill sandals, and they were super just dusty. They look like they'd been left in a garage for a very long time and then given to us in a $10 bag. So I'm going to start with just the brush with some soapy water. I have a bucket with some soapy water just off screen, making a huge mess, obviously. This is why I usually do it by a sink. And while it is leather, I believe, these just are not worth nearly as much as the last two pairs of shoes, so that is why I'm not taking as much time and care with them. The, Something like this will sell for 15, 20 bucks probably, and it's just not worth the time and effort to do a really like thoughtful, careful job on it when looking at like the cost of my time. So just using the soapy water, and this material as well was a lot tougher, the leather, than like the Fluvogs or the Ugg boots that I was doing before. And because I had instant regret making such a huge mess with the soapy water on the couch, I switched to a shoe wipe to clean out the insides. And there you can see a before versus after. So, onto our last pair of leather shoes. These are white leather Adidas. So, you can see they're just kind of scuffed, and the pink accents on the outside of the shoe are basically gray. So, we're going to try and brighten up the pink accents on the outside as much as we can and clean off the darker scuffs on the leather and on the rubber. So starting here with a shoe wipe, I'm just going to try and get as much of the scuffing off as possible. Because these are white leather, I will not be using any of the Doc Martens, the brown boot polish, or the leather wipes, or the mink oil. It'll stain the material, and obviously with white leather, that is not what we want. So we're just going to try and rub all of those scuffs off here with these shoe wipes, and I have found these to be pretty forgiving with material. They're pretty gentle of the different types of shoe wipes I've tried. So after wiping down both shoes with our quick wipes, we're gonna just try and use them on the pink accents that are, they don't even look pink in the video. Looking at them now, they look just gray. And so we're gonna try and brighten those up as much as we can. I'm trying with the quick wipes first, because they're the least harsh of the cleaning options available. So we're just going to give those a quick scrub and try and brighten them up. And after trying to scrub the pink accents, we're just going to take that same shoe wipe and try and tidy up the bottoms of the shoes a little bit, brighten them up as much as we can. Okay, so now we're going back to those pink accents with the Oops Stain Remover, and that's mainly because the shoe wipes did not do a good enough job brightening those up. You'll see that even though this stuff is really good, it can't completely salvage this material. I'm guessing it was kind of like a bubblegum pink at some point when it was new, and it there's only so much we can do, unfortunately, because there is so much grime in there. I think if I was to try and really soak that material, I could probably get it out, but then I'd risk damaging the leather, so weighing the pros and cons just doesn't seem worth it. So you're going to see there, I'm spraying the Oops stain remover on, and then I'm using a paper towel on the surrounding leather to just make sure I'm not letting that stain remover sit on more of the leather than absolutely necessary. So I'll close the video with doing the other shoe and showing you what this shoe looks like afterwards, and definitely feel a lot better about trying to sell this now. But that'll be the end of this video and tutorial on how to clean leather shoes 101. And actually not just shoes, but really any kind of leather, like leather belts I've done this with, purses, bags, whatever. Uh, it's really good to know how to clean leather because leather is a big ticket item, and if you can restore something that the thrift store has marked down due to condition, you can sell it for way more. So thanks so much for stopping by. If you like this video, be sure to drop a like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, do the YouTube things, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.